Right, with these questions involving games of chance, it's really important that you read the question carefully to find out what's happening to either the packs of cards, the spinners, whatever is being used, a combination of both, in order to work out all the total possible outcomes that could happen in the game. So with this particular question, there's 2 packs of cards, one green pack and one yellow pack. The green pack is 5 cards, so those are the top cards there, and the yellow pack is 4, numbered 1, 3, 5, 7. In a game, the player chooses 1 card from the green pack and 1 card from the yellow pack, and the player's score is the difference between the 2 numbers. So that's the important thing that you need to be doing. Subtracting is what we mean by difference, the scores on the 2 cards. So it gives us an example. For example, if a number on the green card is 4 and the number on the yellow card is 7, the player works out 7 take away 4, which is 3, and the player scores 3. So in this table, what we have to do is fill in the gaps, which are going to be, for this first column here, what you get when you take 7 and 3 away from each other. So that score there is going to be 7 take away 3, which is 4. This next gap would be 6 take away 3, which is 3. 5 take away 3, which is 2. Then we repeat the process for the next column. It'll be 7 take away 5, which is 2. 6 take away 5, which is 1. 5 take away 5, which is 0. And then the last column, 7 take away 7 is 0. 6 on the green pack, take away 7 on the yellow pack will be 1. 5 take away 7 is 2. Okay, so inside that table are all the possible scores that you'll get when playing this game. We want to know now what the probability is that the player scores 2. So what you do is you look inside this table to see how many times a score of 2 occurs. So we can see there's 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different ways that a 2 could be scored. So the top number in our probability is going to be 5. And the bottom number is going to be the total number of possible outcomes that we've got. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 18, 19, 20. So the chances of you scoring 2 is 5 out of 20. Okay, that means every time, or if the game has been played 20 times, you are likely to expect to get 5 winners in a game. You could cancel that down to be a lower fraction, but there's no marks for that. You can just leave it as 5 out of 20. And the second part, what is the probability that the player does not get a score of 2? Well, if there are 5 chances of getting a score of 2 out of 20, that means the difference, 15 out of 20, will be the chances of you not scoring 2. Okay, question continues. A player wins a prize by getting a score of 0 or 1. Vanessa plays the game once. What's the probability that she wins a prize? So we go back to our table and we look at how many times a 0 or a 1 occurs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So check that. 0 or 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a 0 or a 1 occurs out of 20 possible occurrences. And again, what that means is if the game has been played 20 times, you would expect 7 winning occurrences, 7 people to win. So if 300 people each play the game once, you would expect every group of 20 in that 300 there to be 7 winners. So the first thing you do is work out how many times 20 goes into 300. So you need to do 300, and this will be on a non-calculator paper. So how many times does 20 go into 3? It doesn't. How many times does 20 go into 30? Once. Remainder 10. How many times does 20 go into 100? 5. So that means there are 15 blocks of 20 that have played the game, and in every one of those blocks of 15, 7 win. So now you do 15 times 7. 7 5s are 35. 177, add 3, 105. So there'll be 105 winners. Is what you'd expect if 300 play the game. Now, they're telling me here it costs 50 pence to play the game once. Price for getting a 0 or 1 is £1. If 300 people play the game once, how much profit would you expect the game to make? So each of those 300 people have to pay 50 pence. So the amount of money paid into the game will be 300 lots of 50p, which is half of 300, £150. So the game generates £150, but it's going to pay out £1 to those 105 winners. So we are going to expect to pay out 105 lots of £1. So the profit is going to be the difference between how much is paid into the game and how much is paid out of the game. So you subtract those now to get £45 profit. And that's a pretty typical question that you're going to get on a non-calculator paper. So it's well worth practicing these, as you'll see from the rest of this chunk of work. So in this question, same thing again, except now we've got a red dice and a blue dice, and now we need to read this to find out what's happening to get the scores. So a player throws 2 fair dice, one coloured red, the other blue. The score for the throw is the smaller of the 2 numbers showing. For example, if the red dice shows 5 and the blue dice shows 2, the score for the throw is 2. If the red dice shows 3 and the blue dice shows 3, the score for the throw is 3. And it's always worth, if you're not really sure about what the rule is doing, take something that's already been filled in. So if I look at that one there, for example, the red dice is 5, blue dice is 2, lowest is 2. Okay, I got my head around that. So here, red dice 4, blue dice 4, score 4. Red dice 5, blue dice 4, score 4. Red dice 6, blue dice 4, score 4. Red dice 2, blue dice 5, score 2. Red dice 3, blue 5, score 3. Red dice 4, blue dice 5, score 4. Red dice 5, blue dice 5, score 5. And red dice 6, blue dice 5, score 5. And finally, blue 6, red 2, blue 6, red 3, blue 6, red 4, blue 6, red 5, blue 6, red 6. Score 6. So that's the table filled in. Now this time our probability is going to be out of that total, which we'll get by doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sixes. There are 36 possible outcomes there. So all my probabilities are going to be out of 36. The probability that a player scores 1, we need to count up how many different occurrences have a result of 1 inside our table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 out of every 36 plays will get a score of 1. What's the probability that a player scores more than 1? Well, every other possible occurrence. So rather than adding them all up, I know they've got to add up to 36, so it's going to be 25 out of 36. William plays the game once. You win by getting a score of 2 or less. Well, 2 or less means either 2 or 1. They're the only scores that you can get at the bottom end of the game. So we know there are 11 ones, so 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So the probability that he wins a prize is 20 out of 36. Right, next bit. 360 people each play the game once. Approximately how many would you expect to win a prize? So that's how many play in the game. We're going to group them into 36s because we know in every group of 36, 20 people are going to win. So we need to do 360 divided by 36 to find out how many groups there are. That's 10. So we got 10 groups, and in each group 20 people will win. So the number of winners will be 10 times 20, which is 200. So with this particular game, you're going to get 200 winners. Okay, it costs £1 to play the game once. The prize for winning is £1.50. If the 360 people each play once, how much profit would we expect to make? So, paying in to the game will be 360 lots of £1. 360 pound. Paying out will be 200 lots of £1.50. Well, 200 lots of £1 is £200. 200 lots of 50 pence is 100. So that's going to come to £300. So the profit is going to be the difference between what comes in and what goes out, which is going to be £60 profit. Exactly the same setup as the first question. Question 3. This time we've got a black bag and a green bag. Black bag has got 4 discs, numbered 1, 2, 5, 6. Green bag 5 discs, 1, 3, 4, 7, 8. And this time what's happening? They're being multiplied. The scores are being multiplied. And we can check that here. Let's take a look at that number there. That number is going to be 4 times 2 is 8. So yeah, I'm happy with what's happening. So to fill in the gaps, 7 times 2 is 14. 8 times 2 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. 7 times 5 is 35. 8 times 5 is 40. 4 times 6 is 24. 7 times 6 is 42. And 8 times 6 is 48. Okay, the number of possible outcomes here is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 fours are 20. So all the probabilities are going to be out of 20. Less than 25. So we need to now look at all the possible ways we can score less than 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 out of 20 will be that probability. 25 or more, it's going to be out of 20 again. 25 or more, 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 20. Okay, and now we're over to looking at how the game is won or lost. A player wins a prize by scoring 6 or less. Denise plays the game once. What's the probability that she wins a prize? So 6 or less includes 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different ways of scoring 6 or less. So it will be 6 out of 20. 300 people each play the game once, so I need to split my 300 into groups of 20. So we do 300 divided by 20, which we worked out on the previous question is 15 groups. And in each of those groups, we're going to expect to find 7 winners. So we do 7 times 15, 7 5s is 35, and once again we get 105 winners. Here we go again, exactly the same type of thing. This time you got £2 to play the game, but the prize for winning is £5. Okay, so paid into the game will be 300 lots of 2, £600 in. Paid out will be 105 lots of £5. And 105 lots of 5 will be 505 times 5. 5 5s are 25. 0 times 5 is 0. To £525. So the profit this time is the difference between these numbers, which is going to be £75 profit. Okay, so again, with the exception of how the scores are scored, everything else is very, very similar. And you're looking here at 2, 4, 5, 10 marks for this question. It really couldn't make the difference between one grade and another. Question 4. So we got a 5 ball and a 6 ball. Red bag has got 5 balls, the blue bag has got 6. Here's the table. What are we doing to the bags? The numbers on the 2 balls are added together. So this time on the table we're going to add these. So here we go. 4 and 2 is 6. 6 and 2 is 8. 7 and 2 is 9. 8 and 2 is 10. 4 and 4 is 8. 6 and 4 is 10. 7 and 4 is 11. 8 and 4 is 12. 4 and 6 is 10. 6 and 6 is 12. 7 and 6 is 13. 8 and 6 is 14. And finally 4 and 7 is 11. 6 and 7 is 13. 7 and 7 is 14. 8 and 7 is 15. Okay, this time how many possible outcomes are there? It's going to be 30. 5 6s are 30 possible outcomes. A total score of 14. So this isn't a more or less than, it's exactly 14. So you scan your table and you can see that 14 occurs in 2 possible combinations. So it's going to be 2 out of 30. What's the probability that a player does not get a total score of 14? So that's every other possible outcome, and there's going to be 28 of those. Right, a player this time wins by getting a score of 5 or less. So how can you get a score of 5 or less? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ways. So there's going to be a chance of 6 out of 30. So in every group of 30 who play the game, we would expect 6 winners. So if 150 people play the game, the first thing we want to do is to find out how many groups of 30 there are in 150. How many times does 3 go into 1? It doesn't. How many times does 3 go into 15? 5 times. How many times does it go into 0? It doesn't. So there are 50 groups of 30. There are 5 groups of 30. So we got 5 groups of 30, and in each of those you would expect 6 winners. So that means that you are going to have in total 5 groups. 5 times 6 equals 30 winners. This time it costs 20 pence to play the game once, and the prize for scoring 5 or less is 40 pence. So we're going to have 150 people paying 20 pence each. So that's going to generate £30, and our 30 winners, so that's paid in, this is paid out. We have 30 winners, each getting 40 pence. So coming out of there is going to be £12, meaning the profit this time is going to be £28 profit. Okay. Question 5. Okay, with this one, again, 2 bags, different set of balls, and what's happening this time is the sum of the numbers. Now, sum means add. If you're not sure, just have a look what's happening. 6 add 3 is 9. 3 add 1 is 4. So we're adding. Okay, 6 add 4 is 10, 8 add 4 is 12, 6 add 5 is 11, 8 add 5 is 13, 6 add 9 is 15, 8 add 9 is 17. This time the probabilities are going to be measured out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 5 4s are 20. It's 20 possible outcomes. What's the probability the player scores 7? 1, 2, 3. Does not score 7, it's going to be everything else. 17. 6 or less to win a prize. So how many ways are there scoring 6 or less? 5 different ways of scoring 6 or less out of 20. 600 people play the game once. How many would you expect to win? So how many groups of 20 would there be in 600? That's going to be 30 groups, and in each of those groups you would get 5 winners. So in total 150 winners we would expect to see. It costs 30 pence to play the game once. The prize for getting a score of 6 or less is £1. So paid into the game, you're going to have 600 lots of 30, which is going to be £180. And for 6 or less, you're going to win £1. So paid out will be 150 lots of £1, which is £150. So the profit this time is going to be £30. Okay, £600 times 30 paid in is 18,000 pence, which is £180. 150 times £1 is £150 paid out. Difference £30. And the last couple of questions then. Okay, this time we got 2 spinners, each spinner numbered 1 to 5. it's the sum of the two numbers, so we're adding again. So let's complete the table. 4 add 1 is 5, 5 add 1 is 6, then we got 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 25 possible outcomes. So that would be the bottom of our probability. Scoring a 2. What's the probability of scoring a 2? 1. There's only one possible way you can score 2. Contestants win a prize if they score 8 or more. Okay, so 8 or more would be there, 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 and there. No other way can you win. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 25. At a fate, 200 people have one turn at the prize. How many of them will win? So we want to turn our 200 into groups of 25. So 200 divided by 25 is 8. So 8 groups, and in each group you'll have 6 winners. So 8 times 6 is 48 winners is what we would expect to have. And the final question. Diagram shows a game at a fate. When a contestant spins the star, it always stops with one of the points vertically downwards. If this point has a black circle on it, the contestant wins. Otherwise, the contestant loses. So the chances of the contestant winning, well, there's 3 black dots, and in total we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points to our star. So the chances of winning would be 3 out of 10. At a fate, 1,000 contestants each have one spin of the star. How many contestants are expected to win? So we want to turn our 1,000 into groups of 10, and there'd be 100 of those. So you'd have 100 groups, and in every group 3 would win. So you would have 100 times 3, 300 winners. Each spin costs 10 pence, and each contestant that wins receives a prize of 30 pence. So paid into this game would be 1,000 lots of 10 pence, and that's going to be 10,000 pence, which is going to be £100. Paid out will be 300 lots of 30 pence, which is going to be 9,000 pence, which is £90. So the profit will be £10. So hopefully there you'll pick up how repetitive and how predictable these probability games of chance questions are, and also that they tend to carry, with the exception of that last one there, quite a lot of marks. It's worth practicing and learning how to do these questions.